Hello there, Tom Holyby with Ashgar Defense. I want to talk about AK safeties and AKs in general because I just really like AKs. I am not a fan of the enhanced AK safety, and there's a couple of reasons why. Number one is they get used inappropriately all the time, right? And what I mean by that is instead of using the hand to manipulate the safety, people get lazy and just try to use their finger to manipulate the safety. And the problem is it also is in line with the trigger. And so what I have seen quite a few times now is people come out and they'll do that. They'll engage the trigger before they're actually ready to shoot. It's kind of a safety problem. It doesn't make me faster. I'm no faster here than I am here. If you think about it, this is a speed device. It's not a safety device. Kalashnikov understood well what he was doing when he built this rifle. When he went out and designed the original AK-47 and later on the AKM, he understood who was going to get this thing. He understood because he was a veteran of the Second World War. He was in the Battle of Kursk, where he was injured. And so he had a pretty good idea of how everything was going. By the way, if you don't know what the Battle of Kursk is, I strongly recommend you look into it and learn about that battle. That was a crazy battle. We're talking dog landmines and tank bullets, and not bullets fired from tanks, but I'm talking tanks fired as bullets. It was completely bonkers. Anyways, conscripts are not trained individuals. They don't get a lot of training. And so when they are on patrol, and they're marching, and then they get spooked by an ambush or something out there, what they're going to do is, ah! And they're going to disengage their safety. The first selection, technically, on an AK is semi-automatic because it's that. On a full auto AK, you have to bring it up one in order to have full auto. Kalashnikov didn't want soldiers out there blowing loads too soon. Semi-auto instead of full auto. Not a good time. That's why he designed it that way, in that configuration. It was the most natural way a soldier was going to engage, a conscript especially, was going to engage their safety, was that way. I'm not a fan of enhanced safeties also because I don't run safeties. That's the second reason. Once the safety is like that, it's going to stay that way for me for the duration. If I need to reload, I'm just going to reload it. There's no safety involved with this. If you're in front of me, I'm going to put it up or I'm going to point it down, but I'm not going to engage that safety. Likely because I'm also left-handed. Typically, I can shoot both sides, but I'm not going to bang, bang. Okay, hang on, I got to reload. Now I got to switch it over here. Safety on, magazine out, magazine in, safety off, run the charge. Ridiculous. Just leave it off. Magazine out, magazine in, charge. Same with the left side. Magazine out, magazine in, charge. You don't need the safety in between all that. It's just going to slow me down. If you think about it, we're all worried about speed. So there you go. Don't run the safety. You don't have to worry about speed. If you do have an issue with your safety, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to buy anything. You just do this with your AK. Pull it apart like so. Lift the safety lever up. Careful! When you do this, some safeties will release their hammer. This is an ALG, so it's not going to do that. But sometimes when you do this with the safeties, the hammers drop due to some sort of connection point in there. So if you do have a safety that runs the risk of overriding everything, my recommendation, and I got to depress it to actually get it back down, so don't go too far with it, just bring it here, in for tight, out for loose. Okay, that's all you got to do. Don't make it too loose. You want it to actually work and be up and stay up and not fall off. Safeties that come off when they're not supposed to are just as bad as safeties that come on when they're not supposed to, or stay on when they're not supposed to. So that's just something to look out for and to think about when it comes to AKs. Real neat little thing you can do, and I reckon it was a design of Kalashnikov's. Really, this just works. The only reason you have this receiver cover is so that the safety has something affirmative to latch against. Really, that's the only reason this big old shard of metal exists here, is just so that the safety can come up, because you can shoot these things without that receiver cover. But also, if you are of the mind to press check, you can do it safely by keeping the safety on and doing that. And you can look inside. The safety will prevent the bolt from going too far back. And then when you let go, it just goes straight back in, rests on the shoulders. It doesn't wobble as it goes back in. If you need a forward assist for whatever reason, if you're of that mind, charging handle. There you go. So that's a bit about AKs. I'm not a fan of the enhanced safeties. I don't need them. Again, as a lefty, safeties on AKs are kind of in my way more than they are anything else. And yeah, so I hope that helps somebody out there. All right, bye.